Okay, my name is Alex Hall. I'm the founder of the Big O. We're looking for £150,000 worth of investment for a 15% stake in our company. About 3.5 years ago, I saw a niche in the market for a pre-packed, marinated, delicatessen-style olive to put alongside crisps and peanuts for the pub and bar market. We wanted to build an olive brand as KP is to peanuts, Walker's is to crisps. We wanted to be the Big O is to olives. And had it not been for major teething problems with our Spanish suppliers, we'd be well on our way to achieving our business plan. Numbers-wise, our plan wants to deliver 4.5 million turnover within 3 years, and that's actually incredibly conservative.
Alex is looking for £150,000 and is prepared to give away 15% of her company. Dragon's Den rules dictate she must get at least what she asks for, or she won't get a penny.
So, tell me, how have you funded getting to this stage?
I've got a business brain. You know, I'm always thinking of ideas. And I got a prototype pot made for nothing and said, I want olives in here with a 6-month shelf life.
Who designed the tree?
Me.
You designed the tree, so you own the rights to that tree?
Yeah.
All this design's been registered and trademarked?
Yes, the pole and the dispenser is patented.
With the packaging finished and the patents in place, the business seems promising. And new dragon Theo Paphitis is clearly enjoying the taste of the product. Doug Richard, though, wants to know more about the market for the Big O.
Did I understand that your inspiration for the product and the way it's designed and the packaging and the ease of use, you said you wanted to be right next to the other sort of snacks that one gets when they're buying a beer?
The inspiration was for the pub and bar market.
So can you just talk me through what evidence you currently have, what level of success you've had in reaching that pub and bar market?
Right, well, yes, I mean, I can.
Good.
The phone rings all day and we don't have any product to sell them.
That's a lovely anecdote, but I was actually looking for a little more sort of substance than that.
No, well, you'll get more substance. Basically, I don't know, what do you want to know, big names?
I'm just looking to know that your product is actually being used by a customer that they like, and that there's some sort of evidence to support that. Real straightforward question.
Well, yes, I mean, it is straightforward, although our sales don't reflect what the company could do because we've had inconsistent suppliers.
Just tell us how many of these one pub sells in a week?
Sorry, I can't answer that question so directly because it's so different. You know, you might get your country village pub that's selling 1 every 3 days, right? But you might get your busy city pub that will be selling 48 in a day. It varies. I mean, E&O...
Well, average, how many of these is one pub selling? Is it 10 or is it 100?
One a day.
Alex has finally given the dragons an answer, but it's not the one they were looking for. The Big O may look good, but its slow sales have astonished the dragons, and the business looks fragile. In spite of her resistance, Theo Paphitis is determined to find out how these sales translate into revenue.
Alex, when did you start supplying bars?
November 2003.
Right, 2003. And what's been the turnover of sales so far?
I can answer that question, but I don't think it's that relevant because we've had very inconsistent supply.
It's absolutely relevant.
Why?
Because I want to know what you've sold since November 2003 in revenue.
I'm sorry, but the relevance of that, I mean, if we had had continual supply...
But you didn't have continual supply.
No, we didn't, and we haven't been able to get our hands on enough product.
How much turnover have you done in that time?
We have 1,200 customers on limited supply.
Alex, please answer the question.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to answer that question because it's not relevant. It's not relevant.
But it is to me. If you're not going to answer my question, then I'm out. I'm out.
Alex's defensive behaviour has cost her the interest of Theo Paphitis, and it's not endearing her to the rest of the Dragons either. Duncan Bannatyne wants some straight answers.
Alex, tell me exactly what is the problem you had with your Spanish supplier? Explain it.
Have you ever dealt with the Spanish?
Never.
Right. Well, is anyone Spanish here? Dishonesty might be number one, key number.
In what way?
One. Well, they'd say things or put something in the product that shouldn't be in the product and wouldn't let us know, so it wouldn't be on the label. They were just totally dishonest.
Alex is on a collision course. She needs £150,000, but her sweeping statements about the Spanish have pushed Doug Richard over the edge.
You really caught me off guard when you maligned an entire nation because one supplier. You really, it makes you sound like you're a wild gun. Telling me that all of the Spanish are dishonest. Have you ever dealt with the Spanish? Yes, I've dealt with honest Spanish and dishonest Spanish. If that's the kind of comment you're willing to make, God only knows what else you'll say. And so I lose some faith in your judgment there. So I won't be investing.
Doug Richard is out, and things are about to get worse.
Alex, if you look deep down inside yourself, you know this product doesn't sell, and that's your problem. So really, you haven't got a production problem. That's not the problem.
It is.
You can't
we
buy
don't
enough
have any
because
stock.
okay. I just, you know, Alex, you just won't listen to anybody. I just don't think you know why you're giving ears, and I'm out.
Alex has now lost the interest of 3 Dragons, but she's still refusing to acknowledge their concerns. Only Rachel Elnor and Peter Jones are left, and her bid for the £150,000 investment is on the verge of collapse.
Alex, I'm Peter. I'm sitting here and I'm absolutely baffled. I think it's firstly one of the worst pitches I've seen to date.
Sorry.
You've mentioned that you've got a business brain. I've yet to see any inclination that you actually know what you're doing.
Right.
So the biggest problem that I've got is I'm now focusing on somebody that actually I don't want to invest in, regardless of how good this is. So you've completely lost me, you've lost my interest, and I'm also out.
Rachel Elnor is Alex's last hope.
You've come across as incredibly hard work, and this is your pitch, where you're selling yourself and your olive product and your business concept to us. Business is about problems, and actually one of the biggest tests of a successful entrepreneur is whether you can successfully get over those hurdles or whether they defeat you.
Which we're doing.
Well, it's 2.5 years down the line. You've got through all of your cash, and all you can say is, really, it's the supplier's fault that you haven't created a successful business. Now, actually, I quite like the product, and I personally like olives a lot, and I can see there's a gap in the market. Whether you can actually make it work or not is quite another matter, and that's where I would have the problem in investing. So it's not one for me, so I'm out.
Alex has been demolished by the Dragons, who found that her defensive manner and refusal to divulge the basic details of her business made it impossible for them to invest.
I've got to say, that is an example of how not to get an investment. It could be a good product. It was irrelevant because she was so egotistical, the
Very
wrong pitch.
high maintenance.
Anybody who feels comfortable asking whether anybody hears Spanish so she can feel free to slag off an entire nation, it is reprehensible behavior. If she behaves like that, she'll do other things later that are equally wrong.
Alex, difficult one.
That was quite tricky. Far too arrogant I am.
I mean, you simply refuse to give them the information they're asking for, and I don't know, was that wise?
It's not that relevant to give that information. Because it doesn't reflect the business.
But you can see from their point of view that if they ask a question and you know the answer.
The fact is that the product works. Yeah. We've proven that it works. That's it.
All the entrepreneurs who pitch to the Dragons think their ideas will make them millions. Next into the den was Phil Gold with his kids' cones packed with sweets and toys.
We're looking to offer a value for money product that mums and dads will not think, oh, another £2 down the drain. People like it, we're selling it already, and we just need this investment to move us that little bit further on.
But it wasn't long before the Dragons found the flaws in his business.
The cone's not unique. I think you'll probably find that your licence is not unique.
Okay.
What's to stop Tesco bringing out their version and selling it for £2.49?
Oh no, there's absolutely nothing.
And for Peter Jones, it wasn't the product that was the problem.
You've come across for me a bit like you're an Eskimo in Barbados. You haven't got it personally, and for that reason, and that reason only, unfortunately, I'm not going to invest in you today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There's no shortage of great ideas coming into the Dragon's Den, but the Dragons need to know that a great idea can be turned into a profitable business. How will Steph Mateo from Sussex fare? He's after £100,000, but remember, he has to get at least that, or he goes away with nothing.
Hello, my name is Steph, and I know that you have a drink problem. Your problem is storing bottles like these in the fridge, because drinks bottles such as beers, alcopops, and many others are too tall or too unstable to stand on domestic fridge racks. When you lay them down and stack them, the stack inevitably collapses and wreaks havoc in the fridge. Racker Stacker is the solution to your problem. As simple as the paperclip, Racker Stacker is a bottle holder and stacking device. With Racker Stacker, you can maximise fridge space, stop your bottles from rolling around, have no more collapsing stacks, and get more beer in the fridge. Win, win, win. So, Dragons, I invite your investment of £100,000 and hopefully your expertise. Thank you for listening. And I've just got one pack, if I could give it and hand it round. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Steph needs investment to launch his problem-solving stacking system. All he has to do now is convince the Dragons to part with their cash.
Steph, I'm Theo. Welcome.
Hello, Theo.
Tell us about yourself. You're obviously working doing something else at the moment.
Yes, I am. I work around London. I'm a licensed private hire driver, and I put in a lot of hours driving just to meet my bills and commitments and the personal investment that I've put into Racker Stacker. And so I put in a lot of hours.
Right, so what gave you the idea?
We had people coming over, and my wife had made this beautiful dessert. I'd stacked up the beers. They were propped up with a carton of milk. Next to it was her dessert. It was a pavlova. I took the milk out of the fridge stupidly without thinking about my beers. They collapsed and ruined her dessert.
So you decided, I'm not having this.
Yeah, I thought there must be a solution to this problem.
And you did Stacker or Racker Stacker.
Yeah.
Steph,
Yes.
when that's in the fridge like that, can you take a beer out of the middle for me?
Well, it's not exactly designed to do that, but you can, because the idea with a drinks system like this is that you are stacking beers, or that's because there wasn't a Racker Stacker on that particular point, so it's filled in the gap.
You could still have the pavlova crushing incident, though, couldn't you?
You wouldn't, because as you saw then, the stack didn't collapse. You see, you take your beers like that. You know, do you want a beer? Yeah, sure. Who's having beer? Yeah, I'm having beers, you know.
Steph is trying hard to sell the concept of the Racker Stacker, but Peter Jones can't see it in his home.
If you had food in your fridge,
Yes.
because I do this myself, that's
Yes.
one of the reasons why I know, is the fact that maybe it's different with Budweiser, but I have Budweiser and I've got 3 on the bottom,
Yeah.
and I've got food one side and I've got the side of the fridge.
Yes, exactly.
So I put the 3, and then I can put 1 on 2, and I can build a little triangle of beer.
Oh, you can.
Without the need of a Racker Stacker at all. Now, what I'm trying to get to is
Yes.
the fact that I don't actually really buy into it. Basically, for me, I'm not going to invest, Steph, and
Okay.
it just doesn't stack up for me.
It's a bad start for Steph. Peter Jones is convinced he can solve his beer storage problems without the help of a racker stacker, so he's out. Theo Pafitis has different concerns.
Did you go through a patent lawyer?
I've gone through a patent lawyer, yes.
And was his advice that this would stand up to scrutiny?
Well, yes, if it goes in with drinks packaging and forms, a stacking kit with the bottles, then that's a very patentable position to be, a very patentable claim.
On its own?
On its own, yes.
It's not patentable, is that what you're saying?
No, it is patentable on its own, it's just that the claims are weaker.
Steph, I've got one of these in my house.
Have you got a racker stacker?
No, I've got one of these in my house, but it's different from this.
Yeah.
But wait a minute, it's designed to keep the bottles together, and there's 3 bottles on it. The difference is, it's for wine bottles, red wine bottles, and it's made of metal, so it's a bit bigger.
Oh, yes.
So it's not exactly the same as this, but I think the person who does that, if they patent it, could maybe challenge your patent. So I'm worried about the patent as well. But my big question is, have you been to the breweries with it?
I've been to see a big British brewer.
One?
Well, yes, exactly.
Why?
Because this is what I find is the hardest part, is actually getting my foot in the door, and what you need the time to develop it, to find out who the brand manager is. And
loads and loads and loads of reps, and you can say to the reps, look, I've got a product here. When you put your bottles in the case, you can stick this in to keep the bottles in position.
Yeah.
And it will increase your sales because people will put more in their fridges and they'll drink more. And you can put your name on it.
Yeah.
I can do it as a giveaway. I see the giveaway as the main market for you. But
I
selling
think
it
you're
to brewers
probably
is a giveaway.
right.
But you haven't really explored that market.
It hasn't been explored or exploited yet.
Okay. I think you've done well to produce the product that you've produced, but I don't think it's something that you can roll out and expand into this very, very competitive business. So for that reason, I'm not investing.
It's not looking good for Steph. With Peter Jones and Duncan Bannatyne already out, he needs to persuade the rest of the Dragons that he's got what it takes to get his product into the mass market.
Steph,
Yes.
it seems like an obviously useful gizmo.
This is exactly
and
what
it
I
needs
think.
broad distribution through Europe and US. So how do you get from where you are to there? What's sort of the plan of action here?
Right. My plan of action is to develop the UK market initially. Then maybe I could license the product for others to manufacture and pay a royalty. This royalty situation is something that's already arising because a particular beer brand are saying, we want to make this. Please give us a price that you're thinking of for a royalty. And they're talking about starting off with 150,000 Bracker stackers.
Incredibly, Steph's only just mentioned his plans to license the idea in return for a royalty. With one company already interested, the business suddenly looks promising.
Have you thought through what the
I've
implications
thought of it,
that might
and
be?
what the discussion so far has ended with me saying, thank you very much, I'd like 15 pence per racker stacker.
And what did they say?
They said, well, for this amount, it seems fine, but, for larger amounts, it'd have to come down. And I asked him to explain what larger amounts might be. And they said, well, for example, there's one device which we patented, and we've done 35 million units. They also said, we did, for Christmas this year, UK alone, we did a promotion for an Irish creamy alcoholic drink. And this gift pack, they did 875,000 units for Christmas this year, just gone. So the drinks promotions market and the branded market is huge.
You don't only need one of those deals.
Yes, only one of those deals, and you're bringing in a huge amount of money.
I mean, there's people driving around in Rolls Royces that have been bought just off the back of one on-pack promotion that they've won.
Well, that's good. That's all I can say.
Do you not understand what I'm saying
I
here?
understand exactly what you're saying. You're saying that's where I should be devoting my energies. That's where it should be pushed.
One royalty deal of 35 million units could make Steph millions of pounds. But with no firm contracts and the patents in question, an investment of £100,000 is still a big risk.
Steph, I'll tell you where I am.
Yes.
You may very well have a hit on your hands, but it's impossible for me to tell. Some of these things fly, some don't.
Yes.
So, too far for me.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you for your time.
Doug Richard is not prepared to stake his money on Steph's business. But Theo Pafitis, with his experience in product marketing, has seen an opportunity.
Steph, I'm very interested.
Yes.
If I decided I wanted the beer so badly that I was going to write a cheque for 100,000 quid here today, apart from the beer, what else are you going to give me back?
I'm saying for 100,000, I'm granting 20%.
That 20%, how negotiable is that?
Well, it isn't really. If I was in front of you 6 or 7 months ago, it would be very negotiable. But with the position that I've reached so far and the potential that is literally around the corner, I'm thinking that that's pretty fair.
See, I'd only be prepared to give you half of that for that percentage.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Because it's still a gamble, it's a massive gamble.
I see, I hear you.
But that's with the patterns standing up for those markets.
I'd do it with you, actually, Theo, but it's conditional on the fact that these patents are enforced, because that's the absolute key to this.
Absolutely, that's the correct way to look at it.
Rachel Elnor and Theo Pafitis are willing to put up all the cash Steph needs, but it's not the deal he was looking for.
So that means that you're giving away 40% of your company.
That's double
the percentage that I was asking.
What was in your mind. Yeah. But that's the offer on the table.
Can I ask, would you have an active input into the Rack-a-Stacker project?
I would not be interested in putting any money into anything that, one, I didn't like, because I wouldn't be able to build up the enthusiasm for it.
Yeah.
And two, I have to have some added value.
Yes, you absolutely. Rachel, would you be involved as well? Would you?
I can absolutely see the market for this product.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's in my interest to make it work.
Yeah. If I said to you 15% each, as opposed to the 20% each, how would you feel about that?
Well, my offer is 50,000 for 20%.
Yes.
So that's...
So that's it.
From my point of view, it's 50,000 for 20%.
Theo Pafitis and Rachel Elnor are refusing to change their offer, so it's make or break time for Steph.
I think that you're giving me very good advice, and I really appreciate those offers, but I cannot go to 40%.
But that's your decision to make.
Yes. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to stand down, and thank you ever so much for your time and for listening, and that's it. Thank you.
So, unwilling to sacrifice such a big stake of his company, Steph has turned his back on their money and their expertise.
He is that for turning that down, and
that's interesting, because
he's going to regret it.
You offered him a fair deal there, Theo, I think.
Oh, I think so, but for 15%, I'm not going to be putting myself out. It's not a big enough chunk for me to be interested in giving him my time. Money, yes. My time, no.
But he couldn't buy your consultancy for 50 grand.
No chance.
Steph.
Hello, Evan.
You're sweating.
Sweating buckets.
You had us sweating. Why didn't you take the offer?
Well, I felt that the 40% was too high. And I always thought that if I tried to negotiate it to be a lower percentage, then they might want to negotiate. It didn't appear that they wanted to negotiate. But the royalty side of it is already starting to develop. And as Rachel said, one deal can make you millions of pounds.
Also hoping to tame the dragons was Nick Noble, who came with his dust bubble, a disposable dust collector for drills.
No dust escapes when you're drilling like that. Now, with the DIY version, you just throw it away.
But his grasp of the figures let him down.
How much revenue do you think you are going to create next year?
I'm afraid I haven't got that number.
The dragons soon burst his bubble.
The fact is, your pitch is appalling. You don't know what the hell you're meant to be telling us here. I'm out.
Stipan Saulich baffled the dragons with his wheelie knee pads, super knees, for speeding up any kneeling job, from gardening to plumbing.
Stefan, could you just give us a demo, please?
The dragons sent him speeding home empty-handed.
Please don't tell me you've given up your life to develop super knees.
Teresa Strong wanted money for her lipstick-saving lip brushes, Lippy Sticks, which sit inside your lipstick tube.
Little do most people know that hiding in the base of this tube is an extra 50% of your lipstick. If I remove the lid and twist the base of the tube, I reveal my invention, which is the Lippy brush.
It might save on lipstick, but the dragons thought it was a waste of time.
I have no idea what I would be doing investing in such a thing.
I just think this is a completely ridiculous business idea, so I'm out, completely out.
Next into the den is Claire Locke from Nottinghamshire. She's looking for £150,000. But remember Dragon's Den rules. She has to get at least that or go away with nothing, and it is the dragon's own money she's after, so she must get the pitch perfect.
My name's Claire Locke. My company's called Smarty Pants. I'm looking for £150,000 investment in the business, and I'm offering 25% equity. I don't know if you actually are aware of the personalised industry within the UK. People adore to be branded, as we all know. But also, people adore to have their names on things. Nobody's actually come up with the concept of doing pants with your names on. The first range that I've designed is for children, aged 3 to 11. On the front, as you can see, you've got A for Alexandra, and then on the back, you've got Alexandra. They retail at £3.99. I think it's a fantastic product to go in things like Clinton's, or major retailers, or gift shops. I forgot where I am. So basically, the product... Oh, it's all going wrong. I've been practicing it for ages. So basically, what do you think of the idea? Are you interested? Can you give me some advice and help?
Pitching to the dragons is a nerve-wracking experience, and Claire has made a faltering start. She's asking for £150,000 in return for a 25% share of her company. But can she convince the dragons to invest?
Claire, just tell me a little bit about yourself. How have you got to selling pants?
Well, I've got a lot of retail experience. I've had my own retail shops doing handbags and accessories. And basically, I finished doing my retail establishments because I do have a son, and I really wanted to dedicate more time to him.
How much money did you lose?
How much money did I lose? Nothing. I didn't lose any money. I closed the business down because of my son.
So how are you making ends meet at the moment?
I'm in between positions. I'm being supported in some respects by the government at the moment. I'm in the process at the moment of finding employment so that I can also work on this in the part-time. Because I've put finances into it.
How much have you put into it?
About 15,000.
15,000.
And I will be the first one to put my hands up and say, maybe I didn't need to put as much in, maybe I made a few mistakes, and I did.
15,000 doesn't sound a lot, actually.
Okay, if this gets off the ground, how are you going to manufacture these pants?
I've already got manufacture set up in India.
Okay, what's it going to cost you to manufacture them?
Per pair, it landed in my warehouse in 60 pence.
So how many are you manufacturing?
180,000.
So you've ordered 180,000. How are you going to pay for them?
It's the small technicalities, as I say to my father.
Sorry?
I've not worked that bit out. That's why I'm here, and that's why I've been trying to get investment.
So you've ordered 180,000, but you don't have the money to pay for it?
No.
Claire's ordered over £100,000 worth of underwear, but she's got no means of paying for it. This isn't the only issue for Theo Pafitas.
Claire, have you got a warehouse? Did you mention a warehouse?
I haven't got a warehouse at the moment,
You'll
but
need
it's
one
no
if you
difficult.
get 180,000 pairs of knickers turning out, won't you?
Well, it's only a 20-foot container. It sounds a lot more space.
You've got a big back garden.
Yeah.
What quality control have you actually put in place?
If I go ahead by using the manufacturers in India, they already supply for the mother care products to this other company in the UK.
Because they're doing something totally different for you, aren't they? So
Well, yeah, but when you have the products over and you sign them off, there's a contract, there's an area.
Trust me, I've signed off many products, and when I get them landed, I find that one leg is bigger than the other, and I have to burn them. So quality control is absolutely key.
Claire, occurs to me, the smart thing you might be spending your time on is getting out there and trying to get somebody to buy some of these, right?
Very true.
Good. So, what have you been doing to do that?
It takes finances to even do things like that.
Does it?
Yeah.
Are you telling me that you are so flat broke at this point you don't have enough money to pick up the phone and call and get appointments and get to people and make... I mean, are you at a dead standstill? Is that the challenge?
To a certain degree, yes.
Okay. And you're at a standstill because you believe you need to have the stock landed here before you can sell?
Because I feel that it would take pressure off me to have a little bit of facilities to go out and do all those sorts of things.
But I don't want the pressure off you. I want the pressure on you. I want you out there selling. Why are you not going hell for leather trying to sell as many of these as possible as we speak?
Because when you've come to a... Upset.
I'm not trying to upset you. I'm actually just trying to ask your question.
Under the scrutiny of Doug Richard, Claire has crumbled. As well as ordering a vast number of pants with no means of quality control and no cash to pay for them, Doug's discovered that she hasn't even started looking for buyers. The reality of her predicament is hard for Claire to take.
I'm sorry, Claire, my goal is just to understand.
Yeah, I know, it's a simple question, but you know when you've got passion for something, it involves emotion.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, basically, the reason I'm not going out selling is because I think it's a mental thing at the moment, and that's the truth. Because I think I've come to a crossroads that I need help and guidance, basically. And maybe that you'll think today, oh God, you know, fantastic idea, but we're going to have to carry this girl. No, you're not. But just to have a break. So many people out there have fantastic ideas, and I'm just after a break. And I know that this product is so commercial.
Claire, I think that you've got a novel product and you may very well succeed, but you seem to be terribly unclear as to what you're supposed to do and what the next steps are and how you're going to go out and sell it. It all seems very vague to me, and that causes risk and that causes concern, so I'm out.
Claire has lost the confidence of Doug Richard, who thinks she's completely out of her depth. She desperately needs to raise £150,000, but Theo Pafitas has got more bad news.
Very simply, you haven't dealt with the quality issue, you haven't dealt with the marketing issue. Now trust me, people do get things wrong. If it goes out there and it's not quality, your business is dead. The next thing is, get involved with somebody else who's in the actual business. This is not a project you should be taking on your own, and I too will not be investing.
Theo Pafitas doesn't believe Claire can cope with the business on her own. He's the second dragon out. Will Rachel Elnor see things differently?
There's so much that you are lacking.
What am I lacking?
How long have we got, Claire?
No, I'm just asking for a bit of feedback.
If you were the kind of person who could make this business happen, you just beg, borrow or steal, whatever, get out there and get orders in. I like the product, but there's more than just having a great product.
I think I've got a lot more than what you probably realise. size.
I just don't see it happening, and it's not one for me, I'm afraid, Claire.
Despite Claire's persistence, Rachel Elnor is out. Duncan Bannatyne and Peter Jones are the only dragons left.
These aren't smarty pants, these are just knickers with children's names on them, and that's all they are. And you don't have a product or a business, so I'm out.
Claire, you would drive me up the wall if I worked with you.
Why?
Because you personally would take so much time to manage and direct, and that's what you need. You need somebody who can dedicate a huge amount of time and resource
I don't think a huge
to put the two together. Well,
I don't think a huge amount of time. Today, maybe a little bit more emotional than normal. I suppose it builds
I
up.
think the emotion is absolute, and you shouldn't be, you know, that is not a negative thing. That's a great thing. You've got passion, it's emotion, and you want it. But the problem is that behind this opportunity lies yourself that's going to take it forward, and I think that you need a little bit more skill and a little bit more understanding and knowledge of how to make it work. And for those reasons, I'm out.
After an emotional experience in the Dragon's Den, Claire is leaving empty-handed. Despite her best efforts, she couldn't convince the Dragons to invest in her.
She was sinking, wasn't she? She was sinking.
She didn't really believe in the product herself, that's why she's not out there selling it.
She didn't have the, whatever it is she needed to get from that to selling.
It was a very emotional performance, wasn't
I
it?
know.
Now, what about the business itself? Because in a way, some of that was lost amid the tears.
Yeah,
amid the laughter.
They were too busy discussing me as a person and what I've got to offer, and actually forgot about the product a little. I'm passionate about things that I do in my life, and with passion you have emotion.
That came across. That's fine.
Would you buy my pants?
Rarely do we see such ebullient enthusiasm for a product up there, and I think everyone would wish you very well with it.
Thank you.
Others who felt the force of the Dragons included Kendra Torgan, who failed to get cash for her range of fashionable fleeces, despite some serious name-dropping.
Some of the people that we've had commissions for is David Bowie, Steven Spielberg, Guy Ritchie.
You're mentioning some wonderful names, and I'm sure you network with all the right people, but it's not cutting it with me.
And her bookkeeping left a lot to be desired.
You've blown 200 grand somewhere.
Where's the money?
I don't know, I wish I knew myself.
But hold on, if I invest £145,000 in 6 months' time, we could be having the same conversation.
We did
Where
make
did
it.
my 145 grand go? I don't know, I spent it.
Daniel Parker's unusual proposition raised a few eyebrows.
I'm here today to try and get an investment for a new international makeup school.
But did he have the entrepreneurial spirit?
It's a very nice business for me to do.
But is it a nice investment for me to do?
I just don't get it. I don't even get why you even think this could be possibly a business.
Andy Bush thought his adult Star Trek pyjamas were out of this world.
Have identified a key gap in the market from the point of view of the apparel sector, linking it to themed adult loungewear come pyjamas.
Is it something, Andy, you like doing, dressing up?
No, not at all.
But the Dragons gave him a dressing down.
I'm just sitting here thinking, being the upscale.
So I just don't believe that adult-themed pyjamas, even for Trekkies, will sell. I just don't buy it.
He boldly came and he boldly went.
Now, before they get an investment from the Dragons, entrepreneurs have to prove total belief in their own product. Dominic Killinger from Buckinghamshire has sold his house and 2 cars and put all the money he has into his business. Is that enough to convince the Dragons to invest £150,000?
Hello, my name's Dominic Killinger and I'm Managing Director of Square Mile. We're looking for £150,000 for a 15% stake in the business, and we provide wireless broadband internet access on board boats. And we do this exclusively in 50 marinas in the UK. The nice thing about the exclusive contracts that we have with the marinas is that we've entirely locked out all competition in those marinas, and we also have a very direct route to the end user marketplace. we currently cover 16,500 berth holders, and that represents 30,000 high-value individuals. We now need to invest in the sales and marketing to get the users really using the service. It means that by the end of this year, we'll end up being the largest Wi-Fi operator in the UK and have the largest number of Wi-Fi users in the UK, which in itself would be a great feat and of great value. And additionally, without trying to run before we can walk, but there are other niche markets in the UK that we would also like to approach, and many marinas around the world that aren't already offering this service that are very keen to offer it. That's everything about the business. I hope you find it interesting enough that you're going to decide to invest today. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Dominic's innovation is to offer a Wi-Fi service to boat owners, enabling them to connect to the internet without cables via aerials placed in marinas.
Dominic, how big is the area?
Oh, you're looking at a box that's, what's that, 5 inches square, and an antenna that's about 12 inches.
So it allows you on a laptop to connect to the internet?
That's right.
So if I'm a boat owner, I just need a laptop, which has got the relevant...
Yeah, about 80% of laptops nowadays are produced with the technology built in, and every time you browse the internet in one of our marinas, you're automatically redirected to a page. So if you try to check your email or go to your corporate website, it would automatically pop up saying, you're on the Square Mile network, do you want to subscribe or do you want to come online with your existing username and password? And that's a really neat opportunity because these are guaranteed high net worth people. These people have got a boat, they're paying £4,000 or £5,000 a year to park their boat. So it's a really niche opportunity for advertising on that site. And we proved that last year. We've test marketed it and proved it already.
Dominic's already got the Dragons interested. His business is likely to attract an affluent customer base, and he's realised that using the service to sell advertising could prove very lucrative. Peter Jones is keen to know how many customers he has.
What is the current base at the moment in terms of numbers? How many people have signed up for the service?
We're on target to have 2,500 base subscribers by next March.
What can that currently generate if those users stay at around 2,500?
You'd be looking at 2,500 people, £10 a month, 12 months.
If Dominic manages to achieve his target of 2,500 paying customers, in the first year he'll receive over £250,000 from subscriptions alone. With the added revenue from advertising, the future of his business looks promising. But one dragon has doubts.
Dominic, if I had a boat, how long is my contract?
12 months.
12 months minimum contract?
Yeah.
See, the thing is, I'd have a problem paying £120, £10 a month for 12 months. Because if I was in my boat, I'd be going there on the bank holidays.
Yep.
And a lot of boaters do that. You know, so if I'm only there 40 days out of the year, I'm paying for a full year's connection. I don't see any opportunity here whatsoever. And so I'm not investing, I'm out.
Unconvinced that Dominic's company will attract enough subscribers, Duncan Bannatyne has ruled himself out. But this hasn't put the other dragons off. Dominic has secured contracts which make him the sole provider of wireless internet access in 50 marinas throughout the UK. And Theo Pafitas wants to find out more.
How long are the contracts for?
Generally 3 and 5 years, as a minimum 3 years, but a lot of them are now 5 years.
You've signed up, it seems, every marina in the country.
Every marina that offers Wi-Fi, we've got them signed up, and every large marina, there's no substantial or prestige marina that we haven't signed up.
So you've done an awful lot of groundwork and you've put together a really good business case.
Dominic has managed to corner the market for the next 5 years, and 2 of the dragons are hooked. But Doug Richard, a Wi-Fi expert and keen sailor, is exactly the kind of investor Dominic needs to win over.
Dominic.
Hello.
Hi. I like boats. Yeah. I like Wi-Fi. I like Wi-Fi on boats.
It's a good start.
Yeah. I want to know what plans you already have in your mind to capture the customer.
I think we've got to turn it into, I hate the word portal, but an area that people can trade in, whether it be through boating goods, can buy their CCTV cameras on board, can buy extra bandwidth options, all the things...
Dominic, you can do better than that. Come on. Do you sail?
No. And I think that's a good point.
Okay.
Because
Tell why.
It's not a hobby that's gone mad for me. This is purely a business decision to get on and do this.
If you were a seller, we can have a conversation. This is one of those occasions where domain expertise would be really useful. Because I can't talk to you about weather. I can't talk to you about meteorology. I can't talk to you about all the portals that I obsessively haunt with too often for my own good. Because you don't know squat about boating.
That's true.
This is not good. You have an opportunity here. If you had the acumen about your customers and you are not persuading me to invest in you.
Doug Richard has yet to be convinced by Dominic's business case. But while he's finding weaknesses in the business, other dragons can only see its strengths.
Dominic, what I'd like to say outline, I think your pitch today was fantastic.
I appreciate that.
I think that as an individual, you are certainly an individual that somebody could work with. I'm actually going to offer you £75,000 for 20% of your company.
Okay.
Because I actually think that you have a business that actually could work.
Dominic's impressive pitch has paid off, and Peter Jones is prepared to offer half the money he needs. But Dominic must get the full £150,000 he came for, or he'll leave without a penny.
Dominic, I will match Peter's offer to get you to the 150, but I'll just 2 or 120% for that 75 because it's huge risk. There's thousands of companies like yours on that market at the moment, and it's about how we use our expertise to get you in a position very quickly to establish yourself as the main sailing portal that everybody logs onto the minute they get onto their boat.
Theo Paphitis wants to invest alongside Peter Jones, so Dominic's got all the money he came for. But between them, they want 40% of his company. When Dominic came to the Dragon's Den, he only wanted to sell 15%. Will he agree to their demands?
Do you want the money in 50s or
folding or check?
It's right here.
I would definitely like to do a deal, without a doubt. And I think that although it's more than I was offering, I think that if we could just tweak it very, very slightly.
You're negotiating with somebody that I won't negotiate.
I only need you to go a very small amount. 1% is all I'm asking for each.
I think 20% is a fair offer. I think you know it is as well. And especially with the expertise that you're getting in from 2 people here. So I'm sticking fast on 20%.
Negotiate with me a little bit on this. I'm talking between you.
Think about it. We made you a very good offer. You're in danger of negotiating yourself out of this deal. The minute you leave this room, the deal is not valid anymore. You have lost the deal.
Dominic.
Hello.
I've actually been really impressed by you. I don't have these guys' technology expertise. I do have a bit of marketing expertise. I'll give you the whole 150,000 for 38%. And I'm happy to do it. I can bring a bit of IT expertise from somewhere else, and I'm happy to back you.
Dominic, however good they may be, I got 20 years of software experience behind me. And I actually think I had so much value that I'd offer the 150 for 45%. And that you should take advantage of the fact that it's me.
Incredibly, Dominic now has 3 rival offers from the Dragons, but who will close the deal?
It's a very hard situation for me to be in here. I think I'm very interested in all 3. I know I can't take all 3. My gut instinct is not to take yours, Doug, because I think the percentage equity shareholding you're looking for is too high.
You will either live to enjoy that decision or regret, and we'll both find out.
And if I was in your situation, the first thing I would be doing is looking in and say, look, I've got some successful dragons in front of me. Be specific. How successful are you? Be specific.
Let's go for it then, Peter.
I've started a group of companies 8 years ago. We're nipping away at a market leader, and obviously based around telecoms. The company this year, give you an idea of income, something in the region of £250 million.
It's a good start.
Mine's dead easy. Ryman, out of receivership, made it a very successful, very profitable, many millions of profit every year, many millions of profit every year. Lasenza losing £10 million a year when I bought it, making substantial profits, right? I mean real profits. Partners are stationers in receivership, losing 5 million quid, making substantial, many millions of pounds profit. So all I can tell you is I've got a lot of wealth, I'm successful, and for me, money is a measure of the success.
That's brilliant. Good. That's excellent.
Theo Pafitas and Peter Jones are putting the pressure on Rachel Elnor.
Dominic, when you came on, you asked for £150,000, and the reason you said you needed that money was not about technology, it was about sales and marketing. And that's where my expertise lies. So I think I can help you on the very thing that you came into the den stating that you wanted support on.
Okay.
It's decision time for Dominic, but with the Dragons fighting it out to clinch the deal, he's realised he has the advantage.
My gut instinct is to go with you two. It's no reflection on you at all, Rachel. But I would still like you to do something on the percentage. I think we could create a really good winning team, but I just desperately would like you to agree to match Rachel's percentage.
If you do what you've said that you're going to deliver, the 2,500 base, I would be personally happy to say and put in the contract that if you do what you specified, which is where we're investing, if you do what you specified, then agreed. You can have that.
2,500 subscribers, is that what you're saying?
Correct.
In 12 months, you get the 1% back.
My offer's still open. If you want to take it, it's up to you.
But you wouldn't be willing to change your percentage?
I'm going to stick at 38%.
Okay, big decision then, but I'll take your offer.
You can make,
Thanks very much
you can make
as well.
good decisions as well. It's a good start.
Dominic has done it. With 3 offers on the table, he kept his nerve and closed the deal, choosing to work with Peter Jones and Theo Pafitas.
He's a fantastic guy.
An impressive guy.
He's got good decision-making abilities.
Well, you'd think so. He chose you.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Rachel?
I'm glad for the guys.
You
so.
just tried to mess our deal up, and never mind. We can live with it.
No, I was more than happy to back the guy because I thought he
That's fine.
presented well, and I think the business is good.
Great. Fantastic.
Oh, goodness, Dominic. I felt for you out there. What was going through your mind as you negotiated that deal?
It's just awful. Everything that I'd ever planned for, just couldn't believe what happened. It was just amazing. So it was. I thought that I was well prepared, but when it came to those final negotiations, nothing to prepare.
Tidal wave washed over you.
I'm just taking.
You negotiated about as well as anyone ever has in the Dragon's Den. Would you have accepted their original 40% offer, do you think?
I think I probably would, yeah.
But you got them down a minuscule little percent.
Yeah, to be quite frank, it's probably more of a pig-headed thing. I just wanted to know that I would be. I've seen many people negotiate with them and nobody's won, and I wanted to be one of the ones that would win.
I think you did very well. You pitched brilliantly.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see how it all works out.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Thank
Cheers,
you,
Dominic. We've had an extraordinary day in the Dragon's Den. 4 dragons fighting over one business. We've had sparks between Rachel Elnor and some of the others. And in his first appearance,
CEO Pefitas has already made an investment. He and Peter Jones offered £150,000 to Dominic Killinger's Wi-Fi company. So, the dragons are already breathing fire and money. Goodbye. Next week on Dragon's Den.
Anybody investing in this company must be barking mad.
I actually believe that the business model is flawed.
You seem to have a real attitude problem.
You haven't got a clue, have you?
And there's more next Tuesday at 8. Another new series next on BBC Two sets out to change the town and its people who've been the butt of jokes. We're making Slough happy next.